Hola clase, bienvenidos a la segunda semana de clases. En este video voy a repasar la materia que deben de hacer. Entonces aquí tienes semana 2 o week 2. En esta semana tenemos un breve repaso de esta materia. Vamos a terminar el capítulo 11. Eso quiere decir que la materia en capítulo 11 deben de estudiarlo todo. Entonces, tenemos materia nueva que es formal commands o mandatos formales y también mandatos plurales, so formal and plural commands. Vamos a repasar pretérito imperfecto y también el presente perfecto. Y breve, muy breve, vamos a repasar por y para y los usos de por y para. Entonces, si quieren practicar, aquí tenemos un repaso del pretérito. Eso, qué has estado, qué hiciste ayer, cómo era el clima ayer. Son muchas de las actividades que van a hacer en el libro tienen ejemplos así, donde tienen que comparar el uso del pretérito y del imperfecto. Bien, todo repaso. Cuéntame de un viaje inolvidable. So this is the work that we do in my synchronous class, right? So breve repaso, just a brief review of pretérito imperfecto, brief review of por y para. Por y para, en este capítulo nada más deben de saber cuándo se usa por y para con movimiento y también con tiempo. So movement, right? So por quiere decir through, para quiere decir final destination. Both can be used with movement, right? So vamos a pasear por el parque, so through, but if I said, este verano voy para España, I'm still showing movement, but I'm going to say, para España quiere decir que ahí voy a estar, that I'm going to be in Spain, ¿no? And then time, ¿verdad? So la tarea es para el domingo. So with a date or with time, and you use para, it means it's a deadline. So the due date is Sunday, versus an amount of time would be por. So any quantity of time, you would say por 5 horas. Also in your book, it highlights that por is often excluded by native speakers. So voy a estudiar 5 horas. Bien, so we're going to start out with this, a very brief review of the material from 102. This week you also have Zoom conversations with a partner. You should see your group up there. Most of you guys have done those. I haven't graded anything for this class, or I've graded very little. So by Friday, you should see I have an updated grade to see how you're doing in the class. There's 2 activities that you're going to do here, working with the same group that you were in last week, unless you received an email from me. Then you're going to see the 2 activities. Here they are. You're going to see it's a review essentially of what we've been going over last week and then this week. I'm just going to skip ahead to these. Also, there's actividades extras. If you're finding that you're running out of activities, these are extra activities similar to what we would do in class. They're still loading, but you can always practice these with a partner, a friend, someone that you know that speaks Spanish. So 20 preguntas just to reinforce the vocab and to reinforce the grammar concepts that we're going over. So just to show you that those are there, that's what those are for. Also this week we have, I'll look at from this view actually. ¿Qué más? We have trabajo escrito. So your assignments for this week, you have a writing assignment that's going to be written in the format of a discussion, right? So you're just going to do a brief writing, past tense, and then commands. And then some new material for this week are mandatos formales. So this is some of the material that we're going to go over that's going to prepare us for the rest of the quarter. So putting verbs into mandatos formales is going to be similar to putting verbs into the present subjunctive. Bien, so we'll start talking about that next week, but this is just a little bit of explanation. To make a formal command or a plural command, you need to switch the ending. So AR verbs become E, plural, bailen. So formal commands, meaning I'm going to, in a person of authority, I'm the instructor, so I'm going to command one of you guys to dance. I would say baile, right? Baile usted, right? To show formality. If I wanted to command everyone, I would say bailen, ¿verdad? Escribir would become escriba, y escriban, y beber, beba, y beban. Bien. So to get this tense, what you need to do is think of the present tense indicative, right? meaning that if there's a stem change or if there's an irregular yo, it carries over. And so before you switch the ending, you're going to have to think of, is there an irregular yo? Is the structure going to change? Or is there going to be a stem change that happens? So entender has a stem change. So you're going to first practice. If you want to pause this video, you can think about how would you change these into the present tense yo form, right? And then switch the endings. So you can do that. And then if you click next, you're going to see the answers and a little bit of an explanation for that. So that's a good way to practice mandatos formales, no? And then also for your flip grid this week, I'll click on this one. I just put this up here. So mandatos y consejos. So what you're going to do is the same thing. You're going to think of some formal commands. So what would you say to your compañeros de clase? So what would you say to your classmates? ¿Cómo ser un buen compañero de cuarto? What would you recommend? What would you say? You would say, ayuden con los quehaceres. So positive things you should do. You should help with the chores. Maybe clean, right? The verb limpiar. You might want to use that one. And then the negative, what should you not do? No tengan fiestas con música fuerte. Or maybe you think that's a good idea. Maybe you could say, que tengan fiestas con música fuerte. And so, 6, no? So 6 different verbs you need to use there. So positive, things you should do, and then negative, things you shouldn't do. Bien? So most likely the only difference here is that the no is going to go before the verb. And then the same thing down here. How do you survive this Spanish class? What should you do? So commands for your compañeros, hagan la tarea o las actividades. No olviden de hacer la tarea, so you might have to be creative to think of some. So that's your flip grid for today. Again, you're just going to load the flip grid and then also comment on one of your compañeros. And then also one other thing I wanted to show you is in your textbook. So you should be following along and doing the activities that are in your textbook. Like I said, this week we're finishing up chapter 11. And so just skipping ahead, we've gone through the present perfect. Again, we've gone through the review. And just to look at these commands, usted commands, this is a good explanation of them. They have it again in English, in Inglés. And then also, as we start working with the negative commands a little bit more, you're gonna notice that there is one other change that happens, which is right here. When you have a pronoun attached to the end of a command, a positive command, tráigame un café, por favor, the negative is going to go before, right? The no traiga, and then also the pronoun no me tráigate. Díganme la verdad, no me digan, ¿verdad? Que ustedes lo saben or la saben. So the pronouns go always before the negative command, right after the no, and then attached to the end of the positive command. So you might see some of those as you're doing your tarea, no? Your tarea online. Bien, so this is not your class, perdón. But I just wanted to go through quickly the assignments that you had due for this week. So those are the ones that you have due. Also, you have your tarea, your homework on McGraw-Hill Connect due this Sunday. Y es todo. So that's all for this video. I will post one more play pause it video for this week. That'll be the only other thing. And in that, you're going to go through and you're going to review the new material for this week. So you'll have mandatos formales, a brief review of por y para, and a very brief review of the pretérito imperfecto. Pero es todo. Espero que estén bien. I hope you guys are following along with the course. If you ever want to jump in on the other one, let me know and I can send you the Zoom link. Or if you ever want to join office hours, of course, let me know as well. Bien, gracias.